Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I will show you how I made this vintage puff sleeve midi gathered dress. I love vintage girly dresses and this one is my new favorite. I had made this pattern for months. I printed it and I kept it until I'm ready to sew. Well, it took me a while because I had a lot of sewing to do and also other work. Before I create any pattern, I like to sketch out the design or create an illustration on how the pattern should look or the steps to create the pattern. So if you want to create the pattern, you can use this illustration as a guide. I always use my fitted dress block pattern as a foundation to create or design any dress. So for this pattern I added a total of 1 inch ease because I don't want it very fitted. Before making this vintage puff sleeve midi gathered dress, you need 4 yards of chiffon fabric or lightweight cotton fabric. I will try and replicate this look on a linen fabric and see if it works. For the digitized pattern of this vintage dress, I will let you know when it's available for download. Alright, let's get sewing. Print, align your pattern paper before you glue them together. You cut out the design and you place on your fabric and you cut your fabric. That is how easy it is. I started by locking the edges of the front facing. If you have a fabric that doesn't fray, fine, you don't have to lock the edges. So I'm just gonna attach my front facing to the front of the dress, right side together, then I pin and sew. Once I'm done sewing the front facing, I trimmed a bit, then did a top stitch. Next, I press the front facing. It's time to create the gathers on the front top. So what I did was to change my stitch length to 4, then run a basin stitch at the bottom, then drag to create the gathering effect. Next, I created the gathering enough to fit the width of the underbust / waist front piece. Next, I aligned it properly, pin, then sew. Ensure you distribute the gathering evenly before pinning. After sewing, I pressed the seam. After pressing, I went ahead to lock the edges. You can do this after joining your skirt, or you can just lock the edges like I did. Time to sew the front skirt. To create the gathering on the skirt, I changed my stitch length to 4 to run a basin stitch on the front top skirt and on the top front bottom skirt. After basting the two front skirts, I dragged the thread to form the gathering for both skirts, then attached the skirts together. After that, I joined the skirt to the front top to create the front dress. So I'm also going to repeat this process for the back pieces. So yeah, because I'm going to go through the back pieces really fast. So the same process for the front, the same process for the back. But for the back, I'm going to add a zipper. When aligning your pieces, ensure that the right side are together. After stitching the skirts together, I dragged the stitch rope at the top of the skirt to join the front top to the skirt. It's time to sew the back pieces. For the back pieces, I started with the skirt. Like I said, the same for the front skirt I did for the back skirt. So I just ran a basting stitch at the top of the top back skirt and at the top of the bottom back skirt. After stitching, lock all the edges. Next, I locked the edges of the zipper allowance. After locking, I press the seams. Next, it's time for me to attach my invisible zipper. I have done something similar to this. So I have already locked the zipper edges. So I'm going to be using my 2 zipper footer for these steps. First, I placed my 2 back pieces side by side, then put the zipper in the center, then fold and turn to the front and pin and sew. So go and watch my other sewing videos and you can see the step more in details. I also have a video on how to insert an invisible zipper with a manual machine, so you can check the video out, like with a manual machine and without a zipper foot. After attaching the zipper, next I joined the 2 sides together just to close the zipper allowance. For this step, I used my zipper foot, the other zipper foot, then stitch from where the zipper stitch ends, then stitch all the way down to the length of the dress. Next, I attach the back neck facing, so I just pinned around the neck area, then open the zipper and pin at the zipper side, and so I didn't lock the neck facing because my fabric does not fray. So if your fabric frays, you have to lock the back neck facing and also the front neck facing. After stitching the back facing, I joined the shoulder seams of the front and back dress pieces together. I pinned, then I sewed, then I locked. It's time to attach the sleeves. For the sleeves, I ran a basin stitch at the top of the sleeve to create my ruffle. Then I drag the stitch thread, then attach to the armhole of the dress. Next, I stitched the side seams together. Don't forget to match the seams well before stitching. Also pin before you sew. Next, I locked the side seams. I also locked the bottom edge of the dress, likewise the sleeves of the dress. Next, I hemmed the dress. After hemming the dress, I folded the sleeve once to create a channel to insert the elastic. I used the elastic as a guide to show the length to fold. To determine the width of the elastic, I just wrapped it around my arm. Also, while creating the channel for the elastic, I left space to insert the elastic. I used a safety pin to insert the elastic. Then after inserting the elastic, I stitched the elastic together, then close the space. This is the last step. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Bye bye.